Earnings, earnings, earnings. So important for those who trade or invest in stocks. A single earnings report can send a stock spiking. A single earnings report can also send a stock dropping or crashing. One thing all traders and investors never want to do is be caught off guard by an earnings report. You have to know when an earnings report is coming. You never want to miss one because of the volatility it brings. Especially if you're an options trader, you want to be aware of that upcoming earnings report because of the way it can change the price of options contracts so drastically. So if you notice, what we circled here is an E at the bottom of the chart, and that is the earnings icon. It tells you when earnings are coming for a specific company. When you hover your mouse over it and click, you can see some really quick details, including the EPS estimates, the date, and the period that this earnings report reflects. If you go back in time and click each E, you can learn more about previous earnings reports, including how the company did, whether they missed or beat on EPS expectations, and including what they actually reported. What was the earnings per share for that specific period of time? And if you watch as we zoom out, you can see the E's are showing up, and you can really learn about a company's earnings report throughout time. Now you can show this on your chart really easily. Right click, head to settings and click that. Then find the events part of the menu and click. And you see this here, show earnings on chart. When this box is checked, the E will show on the chart so you can see upcoming and prior earnings reports. When you uncheck this box, it disappears. If you look, the earnings report icon is gone. Now just watch down here as we check and uncheck the box. So you can see how easy that is just to show earnings in an instant on your chart. One pro tip that we want to show you about earnings is following news related to earnings reports. So as you can see, we're circling this pro tip because this one's really important for additional context. Now see our mouse, we're hovering over the newspaper icon. If we click that, we will see news for the symbol we are looking at. In this case, it is Apple. So watch again, we click, and we can see news for Apple, and as we scroll down, we can read news as it comes in, and it's sorted by date. When earnings happen for a specific company, you will see breaking news in this area, and the day after earnings, you can read additional details and insights into that earnings report. It's how you can get more information and context about what happened during the earnings report, and then you can make a decision for yourself. The company's mission and growth is still intact, or hey, you know what, that was not a very good earnings report and this chart no longer makes sense to me. Pro tip number 2 that we want to show you is creating alerts. This is really important because you never want to miss an earnings report, and it helps to get the alerts delivered right to you. So here's an example. We notice that earnings, here's the icon, are coming up in a few days. We're getting really close to Apple's earnings report. Well, we're going to draw a vertical line right at this earnings report, or let's actually move it to the day before, and then we are going to right click and we're going to add an alert to this vertical line. So when Apple crosses this vertical line, we're going to get an alert. We're going to make sure our app is checked. We're also going to make sure the app is installed. And now we also want show pop-up checked and email, and this means we will get alerts on our app as a pop-up and as an email, and we're going to call this alert day before Apple earnings. And our message will say a reminder, here comes Apple earnings. When we're ready, we click create, and now what we've done is we've created an alert on this vertical line that will help us know the day before Apple reports earnings. You can get really creative with these alerts as well, because you can obviously do things like price alerts. You know, maybe Apple earnings don't mean much to you. You're actually more interested in how Apple reacts before the earnings report. So if Apple moves up a certain percentage or crosses a certain level, then you want to get notified. That way you're getting price action and an incoming earnings report at the same time, and the alert is being delivered right to you. Lastly, as you can see, we have this link here on the chart, and this is the link to our official earnings calendar. So we're going to show you how to get there. Let's say you are on the TradingView homepage and you want to get to the earnings calendar. Go to Markets, then hover your mouse over Stocks and click. Now from here you can click the earnings calendar and you will see every company reporting earnings today, tomorrow, this week, and even next week. What's really cool about this earnings calendar is you can sort by things like market cap. So if we sort again, now we can see here are the largest companies reporting earnings this week: Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. You get the idea. It is a very powerful feature to understand, what's happening for the market. Okay, wow, there are some really big companies reporting earnings this week. We should take note. Additionally, if you have these companies on your watch list, or if you've given them specific tags, and remember, you can color code these tags as we're doing here, you will see them in the earnings calendar. For example, we have previously given Berkshire Hathaway a red tag, and that red tag is showing up in this scan, and maybe that's related to a specific watch list, or maybe it's just a company we want to keep our eye on. Now we know Berkshire Hathaway, there it is. We've previously tagged it, and we know that it's reporting earnings this week. And let's say we want to look at next week, we can do things such as revenue forecast. So what company has the largest revenue forecast? These are big numbers. Ideally, they want to exceed them or meet them, and you can actually sort by the revenue forecast. If you click date, you can see the date and scroll down in that sense where in chronological order what company is reporting earnings by a specific date. Lastly, if we look at companies that reported yesterday, maybe we're looking for companies that really beat on earnings. What we can do is sort by surprise, maybe surprise percentage. What company just absolutely crushed their earnings report? So that means, everyone expected one number, but the company actually reported a number that was even better, and this is the percentage that it was better by. So you can really start to scan for really strong companies that are reporting impressive earnings. We're going to head back to the Apple chart now and quickly review. So we talked about the earnings icon at the bottom here. Quick snapshot. You can show and hide this earnings icon from settings, going to events, and then checking or unchecking the box. Lastly, we have some pro tips here. You can follow news before and after earnings by clicking the news icon and reading through each piece of news. And then of course there is alerts. Creating alerts before, after, or even during earnings as you're making decisions can be so helpful. We have Apple here. We see when the earnings report is coming. We can click this clock here to get started with creating an alert. Whether it is a time-based alert, we want to know the day before Apple reports earnings, or whether it's a technical alert. You know what? We want to get alerted if Apple's price spikes heading into earnings, so moving up some percentage number, and that can really help notify you when big moves happen before or after an earnings report. So thanks for watching, and we hope this video helped. If you have any questions about following earnings on TradingView, please just let us know. Write them in the comments, and we look forward to hearing about the different ways you use TradingView to follow earnings. And here's a link one more time that you may want to bookmark. It is the link to our official earnings calendar. It can be so helpful for always knowing what companies are reporting earnings and doing some really advanced scans or sorts so that you're never caught off guard and you always know, okay, here are the biggest companies reporting earnings, here's the date they report, and here is the forecast. Thanks for watching this video, and we appreciate your time. And as being a member of TradingView, we're always here to help. So once again, leave any questions or comments below.